Hey, I'm Sage Plays, welcome back to Bellemont Zoo and welcome to the Zookeepers Animal Pack. Today we're building an amazing habitat for the brand new Hamadryas Baboon, and I'm going to show you all the new pieces in the Zookeepers Animal Pack and the free anniversary update. Yes, it's baboon time. I am really excited to get these animals into the zoo. I didn't used to be a huge fan of baboons, they're not the most attractive animals, but then I went to Singapore Zoo and saw them in an amazing habitat there. They've got an enormous troop of 80 baboons, and seeing them all running around and getting up to their crazy hijinks was so cool. I've been a big fan of them ever since, and we're going to replicate that here today with a habitat that's going to start with 50 baboons in it, with space for more once they all start having babies. Not only do we have a brand new animal today, we've got a brand new area as well, because we're starting the zoo's African area. This is going to be highly themed, and it's going to be called the Great Rift Valley. It's going to begin at the Ethiopian end of the Great Rift Valley with this habitat for the Hamadryas Baboons, and then it's going to move to the Kenyan end of the Great Rift Valley, where we're going to have an enormous mixed savanna, which is the habitat I teased you with last week, and there's going to be various other habitats scattered around the area as well. It's going to be really immersive, and it's going to be based in the main on the African areas at Leipzig Zoo, along of course with a bit of Singapore Zoo as well. The main ingredient in this particular habitat is rocks. Lots and lots of lovely rocks. We've got so many rocks in this habitat. We're going to be building it using 3 different sets, mainly the savanna rocks, with quite a few of the desert rocks and some of the tropical rocks as well. It's going to give it a really nice flavour, and I want to get as close as possible to the habitat in Singapore in this build, because we're going to have 50 of them to keep happy. Now, the way baboons live is in what's called one male units. Each male baboon will have up to 15 females in his harem, and then lots of those groups live together in a big troop. So the way I'm going to have it here is we're going to have 3 males, and then we're going to have 45 females. That should be enough to keep them happy, and they'll be breeding as well, so we'll get some baby baboons and we'll build the troop up that way. It'd be good to have 80 or thereabouts once we're finished. It's going to be a lot of fun. Now we're not in franchise mode to be able to just have 50 baboons in a habitat. I shudder to think what the food costs of that would be in franchise mode. The way the habitat is set up is we have these big rocky outcrops that I'm building here. This is where the tropical rocks come in, so we get this nice 2-color effect on it. The baboons will be able to climb all of these rocks, and then there'll be a big sandy area in the middle. The whole thing will be surrounded by water, and then they've got a cave that they can go into as well, with 2 entrances and exits to it. A big one that the keepers can use, and then a little hole in the rocks that they can jump through. That's really cool. You'll see that in the cinematics at the end. We're going to use some of these faux rocks as well, just to get a second level onto these rocks so they can climb up there. The effect that I want is that there are baboons everywhere. Wherever you look, you're going to see loads and loads of baboons up on top of the rocks, climbing the rocks, on little ledges on the rocks, on the floor, and in the cave. It's one of the most dynamic habitats I've ever seen in real life, and we're going to see how close we can get to that in Planet Zoo, which with 50 of the baboons, I think we should be able to do a pretty good job. I'm just making one section of this ledge here with the faux rocks, using a few different faux rocks and then spinning them round so we get a nice smooth look to it. I've inclined the back slightly upwards so that you can still see the baboons when they're up there from the guest path, which is that big red thing that you can see at the back. And once we've got this one section of it done and looking good, then we can copy this down the length of this rock face here, get a nice smooth graduation for the baboons to move up. We'll have some enrichment items at the end here, maybe the new enrichment item, the jelly, which we'll take a look at when we look at all the new pieces in a couple of minutes. I've changed the colours on a few of the rocks as well, just to make it all sit in nicely together and not look too like it's the same 4 rocks over and again. We'll copy in some of the real rocks as well, and then start mixing the new faux rocks back in and make this look like a real man-made lump of rock. While I finish that rock off, let's just take a quick look at the real habitat at Singapore Zoo. This is what I saw when I was there last year. That rock work is absolutely gorgeous, and that is what we're trying to achieve today. And we're going to try and achieve the absolute madness of having this many baboons in one space. Next up is the water. You just saw that beautiful waterfall, and that, along with a moat, is what's going to line the edge of this habitat. Now, baboons can swim, so the moat alone is not going to keep them in here, but we need a moat to keep them low enough that the wall at the edge of the moat will be too high for them to be able to get across it. Then we're going to put all the sand that we need to put into the habitat, and then it's onto a fence. This is going to be nice and simple, similar to the one that we built for the elephants, but instead of using mesh underneath the wood to keep people out, we're actually going to use vegetation for that. So we just need a few bits of wood, get it to the right height, and then we can place this all along this path here, and we'll come back and do the vegetation in a minute. But first, let's line the bottom of the pool that we've put in here. This is going to end up being almost like a little man-made river that goes around the whole habitat. We'll put some water in, we'll recolour the water, get it looking good. And then finally, we're going to chuck a few more rocks into this band of rocks at the front to make it look a bit more exciting. And speaking of exciting, we're about to place a brand new piece into this habitat from the Zookeepers Animal Pack. There it is, an apple. Okay, maybe I could have picked a more exciting piece, but it's really good to have some more realistic food to put into our habitats, rather than the plastic ones from the Indian pack. Don't worry, we're going to take a look at all the new pieces in a minute. Let's take a look at how the habitat is coming along. That is starting to look really nice. What I want to do now is move on to the fence where the guests are going to stand and start getting all the foliage in there to sort of block off the space under the fence going into the moat. Make sure nobody crawls through there or anything like that. We're going to use some of the wild hedgerow pieces and some of the creosote bushes, and then we'll move on and build that waterfall. We'll get the tallest waterfall piece in first of all, recolour it so it matches up nicely with the rocks, and then we'll start grabbing sections of that rock face and moving it across over the waterfall until we get it to sit in, and then finally we'll put one more waterfall at the bottom so the water's got somewhere to go, and a few effects pieces, and then let's go and check out the new update and the new pack. Welcome to the Frontier Zoo. This is the new zoo in the campaign level in the Zookeepers Animal Pack. That's actually Frontier's headquarters, and the map itself is based on Cambridge, where they're based, so there's some really beautiful architecture around here. I spent very little time in campaign mode, but I kind of liked looking around at this little map. Let's go and check out all the new pieces in both the Anniversary Update and the Zookeepers Animal Pack. Alright, we'll start with the new pieces in the free Anniversary Update. Got a few of them, and some of them I think are going to be really useful indeed. So we got 3 trees in the usual sizes, and they are apple trees. And they even have little apples on them, which is really cool. I don't think we've got any trees with fruit on them in the game. So that's going to be really useful. Nice model, and the larger trees even have this little bit of sort of extra foliage at the base, which I really like. That's quite a unique look. And even better, the apples are available as separate pieces. So no more using plastic Indian fruit in your habitats. If you want a bit of food scattered about, you can use these apples now. They look really good. Speaking of food, there's the jelly cake as well. I have seen stuff like this in zoos, although it's not normally quite so trifly. It can be used by most of the herbivores in the game, from the prairie dogs up to much bigger animals. I think that's going to be quite a useful little enrichment item. Been a long time since we got one of those. And then finally over here, we got some new pieces. These are basically bunting, but they're signs. So the design so you can write one letter on each sign. Although if you get clever with putting loads of spaces in, you can put actual words on as well. Got these paper tassels as well. Although I just know there's people that are going to make amazing stuff with those within about a week. But even better is the fact that the string is actually a separate piece. So there are 6 string pieces, 3 curved ones and 3 straight ones. And this is now the new thinnest piece in the game. It's even thinner than the Grasslands Animal Pole. So I think this is a piece that is going to get a lot of use once we've worked out what to do with it. And there you go, that's everything in the free Anniversary Update, apart of course from the African leopard, which we'll be seeing in Bellemont Zoo fairly shortly. Let's move on and take a look at all the new pieces in the Zookeepers Animal Pack. So the main sort of set of pieces is this marquee, which is way better than the marquee that's in the game already. All made from separate pieces. There's loads of blueprints so you can put it in yourself without having to build it, but it's all set out into separate pieces like this, as you can see as well. And even the sort of accessories to it are available as separate pieces. This little wooden piece here, got a new set of sort of unpainted, unvarnished wood, these base plates. We've got these guy ropes, which are one piece, but then if we head inside the marquee, we've also got very thin new rope pieces as well, like these, and a little rope coil as well. And in here we've also got the new animal lights, which I really like. We've got the orang, we've got a lion, panda, and this kind of egg balloon style thing as well, and a moonlight. These are all really cute, and a couple of these are already in the entrance to Bellemont Zoo, as we've seen in the intro. If we head outside, we've got some more new pieces. This is a blueprint, shows off quite a lot of the new pieces. Nothing here that's really to my tastes. These are flower lights, but what is cool is that these stems are new metal pieces, so unpainted metal. It's flexicolour. Comes in, I think, 3 different sizes of curved pieces, and then 3 different sizes of straight pieces as well. I think that's going to be really useful. Got a giant umbrella for some reason. We got loads of signs, all the usual animal signs, and some other signs that I think fit in with the basic Planet Zoo pack in the game. We've got more bunting here. This is all flexicolour, so that could be really useful for sort of Asian highlands areas and things like that. We've got these queue ropes. These are available as one piece and as separate pieces. They're set up as a sort of VIP queue but they are Flexicolor, so you can make much more realistic zoo-looking ones as well. And some new Flexicolor metal pieces, which are always welcome. And one of my favourite of the new pieces, metal ropes. These are so cool. They're going to be amazing for building aviaries. And then, for reasons known only to Frontier, we have a maypole. My new Renaissance Fair Zoo will be getting that straight away. There's also some new facilities, a bench that I've got to say I don't really like, a picnic table, which is kind of cute, and Flexicolor, so you can make it a bit more formal looking if you want. And my favourite piece is actually this bin. This is a really good generic European style bin. This will be going all the way through Bellemont Zoo straight away, and the gold parts are Flexicolor as well, so you can make it a bit less bling if you want. And there you go, that's all the pieces in the Zookeepers Animal Pack. I think there's some good ones in there. I'm not really into the main themed ones, but some of the smaller pieces I can see me getting a lot of use out of, and the animals in this pack are amazing. Speaking of which, let's get back to them. Time for the cave. So the way this works at the habitat in Singapore is that for half the habitat, the guests go into a cave where they view the baboons through glass. That was the second of the two shots that I showed you earlier. So the baboons are still outside, it's only the guests that are in a cave, and then the glass enables you to get closer to the baboons than you can when you're looking at them over the moat. Now, we're in Europe, and even in a nice warm part of Europe like this, there's still winter, so I decided to reverse that for this habitat. So the baboons will be in a cave, and the guests will still be outside. That way we get a nice indoor area for the baboons, which we need, without losing any viewing, because the guests will still be able to view them through the glass. We'll put a big skylight in to make sure there's lots of light in here, especially in winter. Like I say, the baboons are going to be spending quite a bit of time in here probably, so we want to make sure it's nice and light. And then we'll start dressing it up with some more rocks. We'll do our usual trick with the signs to get one of the new baboon signs up here. In fact, we'll have two of them up here. I think that looks really cool, them just sort of hanging out on top of these rocks as the guests walk past to get to the indoor area. And then it's time for the enrichments. So we'll do our little path trick to make sure this enrichment item doesn't destroy the terrain, and then dig up around it so it just looks like a nice natural little bit of wood chippings on the floor where the keepers can put some food for them. And we'll drop some rocks in as well just to tidy that up. Bit of terrain painting, some soil down here as well to merge it in better with the sand. There's the rocks. And then we'll do another enrichment item. I'm going to put some of the, I think it's the Indonesian wood over this bamboo enrichment item. I don't like the bright yellow colour on the enrichment item, so we'll put a bit more subtle wood. It still works even if you cover it up like that. I tested that with the Red River hogs at San Bernardino Zoo. And then it's onto a big sign for the habitat. I'm copying this sign directly from Singapore Zoo, so we're going to experiment with a lot of different wood pieces to get it as close as possible. So we've got some wood to surround it, and then we've got some different pieces of wood for the backing. And then we're going to go in and put the signs in. So as well as the name of the animals, I want the name of this general area, the Great Rift Valley, Ethiopia. Like I said with the little signs in the new update, if you get clever putting spaces before and after the words, you can control the size of the font, and we can make sure that the word Ethiopia is the same size as the Great Rift Valley despite having way fewer letters in it. There we go, looking good. I want to do one more thing to the rocks in the habitat, which is to take this layer of stacked rocks that we built for the elephant habitat back in San Bernardino Zoo and just mix this into these rocks. Just adds a splash of colour and a different texture to the rock face. It looks really good. And we're almost done with the habitat now. I've taken these rocks, which are actually from the panda house at San Bernardino Zoo, just to start building up this African area. These are the rocks that are going to line the paths where the guests walk down. Just makes the area feel like one whole area and prevents cross views into other areas or outside the zoo or anything like that, because we want this to be super immersive. Just putting some air plants and a few creosote bushes on top of this sign and we are done. Let's check it out. It's time to release the baboons. This is one of the females. The model's absolutely amazing. And there's one of our males in the background. This is Leo, the biggest of the males. I managed to get 100% size, which is no mean feat in sandbox mode. And somehow the keepers are able to put food up on top of this rock. No idea how that works, but it's absolutely amazing because it means they're up here all the time. And the whole habitat is just so dynamic. There are so many baboons in here. This is my favourite habitat in the zoo immediately, just from the sheer amount of stuff that is going on in it. There's all sorts of different areas, most of which are visible for the guests, but there's a few, like this little water spot here, which aren't. This is the view of the inside, the little cave, and a final overview of the whole area. I'm pretty happy with how close this is to the Singapore Zoo habitat. Let's check out where we were when we started today. This was the zoo as of last week. And this is it now. The Baboons is on the right, and that huge yellow box in the middle is the enormous building I was working on when Frontier sent me the new pack. That will be out on Saturday. It's got more pieces in it than anything I've ever built. Thanks for watching as always. Enjoy the new pack, and I'll see you on Saturday.